Hello, good evening, and welcome. You are through to Inview Connect. Inview Connect is very much about what is on your mind. What do you want to talk about? The show was created to get people that had views and things they wanted to talk about that maybe would not get on mainstream media. And this show, like my sister show I do on a Sunday, is very much about connections, and connecting people is what this is about. This show is your show, so there's no guests on this show. When we run as long or as short as it takes, it's 7 till 8:30 normally, but we can run on a bit further. It doesn't really matter. And if you are coming on to here for the first time, please subscribe. It costs nothing. Like and share with your friends as well, because on here is a platform where we do not conform. We are independent thinking people where we have our own views, our own ideas, and in lots of ways we have a link up. Now you can interact with this show. My phone is here and it can be red hot. 07403 436 942. That's 07403 436 942. Now you can ring me and speak to me live on air where everyone else will hear as well, or you can text me on that number 07403 436 942. You can also Facebook message me at Clint Denyer, and also you can also message me at WhatsApp as well under Clint Denyer. I hope you're well out there and going through this lockdown okay. Please let me know your thoughts. I have 3 questions tonight for you. 3 questions that I will talk about later, but I'd like some input from yourselves. The 3 questions that we ask ourselves in this reality all the time. Who am I? In other words, who are you? Why are you here? And what is your purpose? Those I've been doing readings for 40 odd years, and those are the 3 main questions that people want to know all the time. The secrets to knowing them questions exist inside you. But if you have any questions in regards to who you are, why you're here, and what you're supposed to be doing, then please get on the phone. 07403 436 942. As normal, we're going to talk about a lot of different things on here, and we're going to get a little bit away from coronavirus because I think we're all sick to death of it. We are all in an imprisonment at the moment, even though we can walk outside, but we can only walk so far because then we get stopped. And we can go to shops and things like that. Today they were talking about the fact that there is going to start to be relaxed a little bit soon. But they are telling us one of the interesting factors that, in the beginning we didn't have to wear face masks, but now they're saying that coming out of lockdown, everyone's got to wear face masks. So I don't understand their logic, their thinking. I have lots of question marks about this government because I don't feel that they're serving us well. I feel that they lied to you, and I feel it's all part of a bigger picture that you aren't aware of, or if you are, it's only in bits and pieces. I will be checking my phone constantly as we go along, because we do get texts and comments and things like that come up, and obviously as we get them, I feel that I'm just going to send a message to this person because they've texted me. There you are. Hopefully they will come back, and hopefully they'll come on the show. My name is Clint Denyer. If no one knows who I am out there, I'm on here every Thursday and every Sunday. On a Sunday, we have guests, all manner of different guests that talk about everything that's spiritual. We bring something different to the media to what you have in the news on mainstream media, because that is fear porn. It is there to create division. It is there to create fear. And you outside there are well above that, because listen to this show. You are people with a brain, your conscience, understanding, spiritual balance. And even if you aren't, you're a person that's questioning what you're sitting in. And you should question what you're sitting in, because what you're sitting in is absolute rubbish. Anyway, I'm gonna trawl through some of the news. Remember the big 3 questions I have for you tonight. Who are you? Why are you here? And what's your purpose? Now, I've talked through the newspaper. I'm going to talk about coronavirus to start with a little bit, not very much, because what can you say? We're in lockdown, and obviously we're being controlled by a very small intergroup of people under science, where in actual fact we don't run with science like they do in other countries. We do things different here, even though science across the board the same. As we know, the world is starting to come out of lockdown into certain places and everything. Here, they're going to have a phased approach, and they are talking about that this is going to be longer here than we expected. So basically, you could expect most of May being locked down as well, with the exception of the amazing places like KFC, Burger King, and McDonald's, really important factors in our reality that will be opening for home deliveries and things like that. Something that really got my back up today, which it doesn't take a lot, to be honest, when we are absolutely shown bilge and contempt for your intelligence out there. There is a big advert on the back of a newspaper. It says coronavirus, stay at home to help us save lives, not save the NHS. Stay at home to help us save lives. And then it says, act like you've got it. This is an advert, big one-page spread. I'll show you in a minute. Coronavirus, stay at home to help us save lives. Act like you've got it. Anyone can spread it. So you've got to act like you've got coronavirus. I don't know what they mean by that. I don't know what they're trying to say in that message. Act like you've got coronavirus. I think it's disgusting. I've never read anything so rubbish in all my life. But to prove it, I mean, whether you'll see this or not, you probably won't because it's backwards. Act like you've got it. This is the NHS. This is coronavirus. That page, probably in that paper, probably has cost thousands and thousands and thousands. They are. Stay at home. Help us to save lives. Act like you've got it. Act like you've got it. Act like you've got coronavirus. What a bunch of muppets. Do you know what I mean? What a bunch of stupid, irresponsible people. Act like you've got coronavirus. That is disgusting. Another story, well, there's loads of them actually, to be honest, in regards to coronavirus. Something that I'm moving away from that slightly, but still with bonkers Boris, because there's only one way to say Boris, and you can't help saying it without being using the word bonkers, because he is. There is a lot of understanding out there that Boris in the community, and I'm talking about spiritual community and people that have a sixth sense and understanding, thought that this person didn't have coronavirus. And then some people thought he did have coronavirus, but he wouldn't make it. Now, obviously, I'm not condoning everyone that you shouldn't be here or anything like that, but you have to ask yourself if it is Boris that's come back. Now, that's a very strange thing to say, but what about a double ganger? What about if he's replaced? But if it is Boris, the news this week that his partner, Carrie, who he announced, this is the big news. He announced in February, the end of February, that he was getting married to Carrie and that they were going to have a baby. That was the end of February. And this is new. This is hot news, obviously. You know, it's a prime minister who is getting remarried to Carrie, and they're expecting a child because she's pregnant. Now, this is all over the internet, as you know, and the BBC and everyone reported on it. And at that time, they said that Boris said that the baby was due early summer. That was the end of February. Early summer, the baby was due. There's something not right here. And I'm not a person that's saying this for any other reason that I find it odd and strange. And I'm not the only person. The fact that he said at the end of February, we're in April now, that early summer, they would be having a child and they would get married and everything. Well, that's fine. But here we are 30th of April, actually yesterday, 29th of April, they had a child. Now, hang on a minute. April, May, June, July, early summer, I would say, is July. So, and everyone's doing very well, and the baby's very healthy. What's even more puzzling is this picture, because this was taken last month of Carrie. She doesn't look remotely pregnant. She doesn't look like she is going to have a baby very soon. There they are holding hands, look. The beautiful couple together. Boris, the buffoon, and Carrie, who is supposedly there because she had the baby now, supposedly 7.5 months pregnant. Where is it? Where is that baby? I'm speculation, but I'm throwing out there because I am struggling to come to terms and understand what's going on. He said the end of February that they would have a baby early summer, and the 29th of April, they have a child. Somebody explain that to me. 07403 436 942, 07403 436 942. You can contact this show, 07403 436 942. You can text me or ring me, and you will be live on this little gadget in my hand. You can also Facebook message me at Clint Denyer, or WhatsApp me at Clint Denyer as well. So all very straightforward. This show is open. All lines are open to you because this is your show. I'm just facilitator. On a Thursday and Sunday, all I do is open the realm for people to come in. Obviously, on a Sunday, we have a lot of different guests, and it's very, very interesting, everything. On a Thursday, it's different because we have you, and you are the guests. You're the audience. You're the people that really are the people that need to have their say. I have 3 questions for you tonight. Who are you? Why are you here? And what's your purpose? I want you to ring me and tell me. I want you to ring me and tell me what those things are and what they mean to you. Who are you? Why are you here? And what's your purpose? Simple questions, but not at the same time. Going through the news, there's all sorts of other stuff in here that's moving away from coronavirus. What's this? A dinosaur with a star-like skull has been named after David Bowie. It is a form of a dinosaur from the past that they found that they've actually named after David Bowie because it looks a bit spatial. It's got a space oddity feel to it. It also is something that resembles David Bowie himself. Interesting. Another crazy story here, because we do bring you crazy stories. King of the Hill, railway ace builds track to front door. Engineer Alan Pine has built a railway to his home, 50 foot up a hillside, so he and his wife won't have to climb the steps when older. It's took 18 years to build it. It's cost him 15K, and he's had to move 150 ton of soil, and it's 109 foot in length. There he is, sitting in his little thing, as you can see. There it is. I think it's important we bring lightness into what's happening, because I do feel that we are all getting very tired, very drained, and very exhausted with not just the lies that we're told, which we are all the time. You turn your TV on, but because the situation that we have here is intolerable. You are educated, very educated people that should be treated with respect. They have us right now in the palm of their hand. That's where they have us. They can do what they like. They can say what they like, because that's where they have you. You can't do this, you can't do that. We're going to open such healthy places as KFC, McDonald's, and Burger King so that you will be happier. And obviously, those things don't mean a lot to a lot of people. People want some semblance of a light at the end of a tunnel that doesn't exist. And, you know, somebody like Tim Martin, who owns the massive, huge pub chain of WD Wetherspoons, last night gave hope to Brits desperate for a pint. Do you know what? It's the one thing I miss, going to a pub and having a pint. Boss Tim Martin will toast up and down the UK for saying he's already planning how to socially distance when the lockdown lifts. And he's basically saying that in June he's going to open his pubs. And they're saying, will it happen? The fact is that, you know, this person is taking lead. We need something back in our lives. I don't think we need McDonald's and KFC and Burger King necessarily. But, you know, we are social animals. We like to interact. It's very important we do. And it's very important in that social interaction that we connect. That's very important as well. Unfortunately, they're only just starting to look at things I spoke about weeks ago. Mental health, abuse, suffering, suicide. They even spoke about that at the daily press conference today about suicide. And the director of the science, or whatever he is, Mr. Whitty, who looks like he's come out of a crypt, to be honest, and somebody I would not want to meet on a dark night, has said, well, anyone that's really feeling suicidal needs to contact the following people, and that's all the institution, all the people there to help. If you're feeling like you're feeling suicidal, if you're feeling depressed or feeling low. What about confused is another word, because confusion can cause stress, anxiety and worry, and it can cause a lot of pain as well. Now, we haven't seen a bow wave yet, because it seems to me out there we don't see a lot of people that are suffering with no money or anything like that, but I'm sure there is thousands of you that are struggling to eat, that are using food banks, that haven't got their universal credit or haven't got their business loan. I want to know about you business people out there that run your little cafes and your little shops. What's going to happen? Are you opening you just not opening ever again? Have you found it easy going through the red tape and the mire of what they had to offer for business? Anything I talk about tonight, you can comment on. You can put your comments on here on YouTube Live in the comments box, or you can ring me 07403 436 942, and you can text me on that number as well. You can Facebook message me, or you can WhatsApp me as well. So there's many forms of communication open to you. Something that I wanted to talk to you about tonight is responsibility and respect. Unfortunately, our government failed miserably on both counts here with you, the people. Responsibility and respect. We have to look at the fact that we are all in the same boat here. Now, you've got footballers earning £500,000 a week, and then you've got nurses earning hardly anything, and you've got road sweepers, and you've got lorry drivers, and you've got all types of people. We have almost gone backwards in a way here. And going backwards in a way here is where the important things are not money necessarily, but the simpler things of life. Now, the simpler things of life is very much about having a roof over your head and having food. Now, I know there are people out there that are struggling with that. Certainly homeless. They haven't got any food, and they ain't got any house. They got nowhere to live, nowhere to do, the homeless. I know there's some people open their doors. I know that hotels are open for homeless and that as well. But I do feel very strongly that The homeless are forgotten people. But even more than that, we sit in a place where ordinary human beings, whatever wealth you've got, doesn't matter. We all go to the toilet. We all think. We're all logical people. Just because they have more money, it doesn't mean anything now. Our hierarchy's gone. What's important is having food, staying at home, so being in your house. These things seem logical, but these things were the only things you needed once. You didn't need iPads. You didn't need to go to lots of shops and buy things. The logical things you used to do was you used to go out in nature, enjoy nature, buy some food, have meals, sit with family, which, you know, we have turned full circle back to. And also, we have a house or roof or somewhere to call our own. Those are the important things. And those are the important things that it doesn't matter how much money you've got in the world. It really doesn't, because it doesn't mean that you're going to get preferential treatment, unless you're in the government, of course, because they're all multimillionaires and they get exactly what they want. Us people out here, the time lag has shifted. It's not about going out to do something. It's about having food. Food is a necessity. Drink, a house, and being together. Those are important factors. Now, that in itself can create a massive vacuum space, because within people that are spending time together that aren't necessarily spending time together most of the time, these people are there having problems, issues, concerns. But in times like this, it should pull people together. We should find compassionate ground. We should find areas within inside ourselves where we can communicate, and communication being the key factor. So there's a balance being restored here. This is about survival. That's what this is about. Food, necessity. Drink, a necessity. A roof, a necessity. All those people across this country tonight, that haven't got any of those things. Do we care? Do we care about them? Do we care about these people that have nothing? They're not on the news or anything. I mean, I take my hat off to Captain Tom, but now Colonel, obviously Tom, been promoted. His 100th birthday today. Congratulations. I think what he's done is absolutely magnificent. Over £31 million raised by a man who's 99 years old, who had a sense of duty. A sense of duty to do something. And he wanted to raise £1,000. £31 million later, and obviously he's won awards and everything as well. He had a fly past today. I feel that it couldn't do enough for this person, because he had gumption. He had something that's missing in our society. He wanted to do something. Now, I'm not saying all you out there aren't doing something, because you are. But he's doing it in his own way. He's not doing it in any gain, in any shape or form. He's doing it because the intention is true. The truth he carries is true. And I take my hat off to him. And I feel that he should get whatever he can have, basically, because I feel the person should have a key to the world, because I think he is phenomenal. And people should look up to someone like that, that of his own back decided to do something remarkable. And obviously, in what he's done remarkable, I feel he needs all the plaudits he should have. Going back to the survival mode in relation to food. Food is a necessity right now. That's the only place you can really go buy food. But obviously, a lot of these shops, you can actually go B&Q and places like that now. So you can actually, instead of just buying a fence panel, you can go and buy paint and all sorts of different things and do up your place. I'd like to know what you have been up to in this time. 07403 436 942. Tell us what you've been doing. Tell us if you've had problems. Tell us how you've got through this time that we're in right now. That is, I'm not going to use the word unprecedented, because I think it's an atrocious word that I think has been done a death of, basically. And here we go. Captain Tom. Debbie Johnson said, Captain Tom proves that anything is possible. We need to band together. I believe this is happening. People come first, not money. I totally agree with you. The integrity of that man, bearing in mind, he comes from a generation that had integrity, respect, care, consideration. I do agree with you, Debbie, that people are coming together. But within the coming together, there is division, because there will always be division. But I do feel that everyone looks at Captain Tom, Colonel Tom now, that's provided a base camp, basically. So when we look at ourselves and think, well, what, we get depressed and low and everything, what we have to look at is what we want. This goes back to 3 questions I'm asking you tonight. Who are you? Who are you? Why are you here? And what is your purpose? Because those 3 questions resonate with every single person on this planet, not just humans, everything. Everything has its place. Everything has its purpose. Money has become obsolete, really. And obviously it's something that's not as important. It is if you haven't got money, if you haven't got food, because obviously you need to buy it. But I'm going to go even down to a lower depth than even what I've been talking about. Because, I bang on about constantly about the people that are homeless, that we never talk about. They're just part of society. They're souls. They're human beings. They're people with emotions. They're people with feelings. I remember when Harry and Meghan got married, and with disgust, not their marriage, with disgust that the fact that the council in Windsor were removing all of the homeless people from the streets. They would take them off the streets, because it wouldn't look very good for their wedding to have a lot of people sitting around on the streets. And then they have the wedding, and then they all go back. I say this time and time again. What do we do in this country? What do we do in this country to deal with root problems? Root problems are very much down to not moving these people about, but actually finding out why they are where they are and helping them to change their circumstance. And I know drugs and many things come into it, and I know that many people are on their last knees and all sorts of that. But homeless means something. There is charities out there doing great work. But, next time you're thinking, when all these people basically that stack their freezers and fridges up with food that then all got thrown away, just think about the homeless that haven't got anything. We need to deal with it. We need to look at it, because it's very, very important. And they are people like you, like me, and they mean something. And, that 31 million that's gone to the NHS, I think is immense. But I do feel the crowdfunding body behind it, who's going to earn millions out of it, is wrong. And all of a sudden, this government shows so much money to everything. If this government really cared about you, about us as a country, why haven't they got teams going out to track down people that are homeless? And why haven't they put them in hotels? I know some have, because some's opened their doors, but many aren't. And they're still living out there, living in a very dangerous place. Drugs, prostitution, all manner of different things. Debbie Johnson said, I am pure energy and I am here to learn about one thing, love. I will continue my journey. Absolutely. Love is the essence of everything. That is your golden ticket. Love is honored with the compassion, understanding, wisdom, and knowledge that you carry within inside yourself. And that is a key. We have to have love. We have to have love, not just for ourselves, but for other people. And I do feel that as we have love for other people, we have to express that, communicate it. We have to connect. I'll go back again to ask you the same 3 questions, which you can contact this show on this phone, 07403 436 942. It is on my screen as I'm looking. I'm going to put it on there again. 07403 436 942. You can ring this show and speak to me. You can text me on that number. And you can WhatsApp me or Facebook message me to put your comments on this show. Thank you very much for your input, Debbie. That's very, very kind. Very kind. I totally agree with you. And, you know, within the spiritual community, and I do know there is so many people switched on out there now. So many people switched on that are fed up with what we're being told, how we're being governed, and not open to the pure energy of what we carry. Because all they give you is fear, to wrap you up in chains. You're not meant to be wrapped up in chains. I want to put a perspective on this, and this is where we have to broaden our spectrum, and this is using the one word that Debbie uses, love. I've talked about the homeless. I want to talk about the people that are around the world, and in this country, that have no food, that are starving literally to death. We have all this grandeur on TV with all these, you know, nurses do amazing things, which they are, they're front line. But what about all the people that we aren't helping? And just because they're not in this country, have we the right to not think about them? Have we the right to not query what's going on? As I said before, and people out there that know me, I put all sorts of things on my wall. And they're there for everyone to look at and digest, take away. There is a bigger picture of what's going on here, I know. But I'm sick to death of the hierarchy treating people as 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rate citizens. Because basically it comes down to care. Care is the one thing that's attached to love. And there is too many people, even in our country, that don't care about anyone but themselves. We see that with the huge amount of toilet paper, the shelves being cleared. I don't care about anyone else having anything. I want it. It's mine. I'm buying it. I don't care about anyone else. That mentality has got to change. That's got to not just change in this country. That's got to change in the world. Because, you know, it's all very well that we get a glossy picture that is prefabricated and in a way propagandized to you on TV, in the media. There is no other news but coronavirus. And every day it is how many people's died, how many people has it. I banged the drum many, many times. Coronavirus to me is a man-made disease. But it is also something that we have on a seasonal basis. Each one of you have millions of germs, viruses in your body. We have immune systems that combat it. And we have anywhere between 250 to 650,000 people in the world die a year of seasonal flu. And there's so many different things being floated out there. No wonder people get confused. And I'm not there to confuse people. I'm there just to give them understanding, advice, and show them things that I feel is real. Because there is a big picture. There's all sorts of things going on. As we're talking with Crystal, this lockdown has created a vacuum space for Trump to send in people to rescue 35,000 children. These are in underground installations. These children are food. This sounds ridiculous in the 21st century, but these children are food. They go through sexual ritual abuse. They go through paedophilia. They go through all manner of disgusting, degrading, dark entity, satanic shit. And there's a lot of people right now, rich and famous, that are quivering in their boots in relation to the information that certain people have on them. And it has resurfaced, like other things now. Prince Andrew, which that story's starting to come back, where his phone records are wanted by the FBI to see who he's been talking to and what he's been doing. Prince Andrew needs to go to America. That woman that killed that boy on a motorbike needs to come to England. They're also talking in the news the fact of, surprise, surprise, the fact that there are going to be other people suffering in these hospitals. That is people that are too afraid to go to hospital because of the coronavirus. So they're cancer patients that need treatment. There are all manner of different people that need treatment, cardiovascular treatment, all manner of different things. And they're saying now on the news, on the mass media propaganda machine, fake news, fear news, they're saying, well, what about this? We're going to have to start reopening some of these for these people to come to. Well, yes, you are. Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't we doing it? These people need help. Why are we just putting them aside? Why are we not actually doing anything about it? Because we're so hung up on coronavirus, when in actual fact, the hospitals that they built, I don't know what they're there for. Nightingale Hospital in the Excel Centre in London has got no patients, 4,000 beds, and obviously has an ample amount of staff, and obviously has an enormous amount of ventilators and God knows what else there. There's nobody there. Birmingham, nobody there in the Nightingale Hospital Centre there. And the other ones they built all around the country. There's no one in them. Well, be fair. Why? What? Why spend all that money? Why do that? Because the government wanted to, in other words, show that they had enough capability. But it's complete waste of money and time. Because if they really cared, why didn't they actually go to care homes, take out the people that have got coronavirus and put them in Nightingale hospitals? Why didn't they do that? Why did they leave them there? Why did the care homes become the very last place that they look? Which is clearly the first place you should look because of the elderly status of the residents that are there. And you have so many different shifts, so many different people coming in and out all the time. The chances, and this goes again, saying what I said, we have millions of viruses in our body. Millions and millions. We can pass something on just like that. If that person is weak or that person has deficiencies. This government, in my mind, Boris Johnson and his cronies, need to be put in the Hague and on trial, to be honest, because I feel they have blood on their hands, all of them. That Matt Cock today is trying to hit 100,000 tests. Apparently, they've got 71,000. But what you don't realise is he's opened more test centres, new mobile tests, the military's doing now and everything. But out of those 70,000 tests, it'd be about 45,000 because they've been retested and retested. It's not a true picture. It's a complete pack of lies. Remember, this is your show. 07403. And we have somebody on the phone. It is Matthew. Thank you very much for ringing, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you for coming on.
That's all right. I saw you're a bit lonely, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Yeah, a little bit lonely, but I mean, I'm trying to get through a few things, as you do. And it always amazes me that I know people are frightened about talking, or they have fears about expressing themselves, but we can't have that anymore. We live in a time where people have got to be open and they got to say, like I am, that things are not right.
Yeah.
When I said that the whole of the government need to be put in the Hague, I mean it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Then where is the care? Where's the consideration? This thing I read out and I showed just a minute ago online, I'm actually disgusted with. In a virus, stay at home to help us save lives. Act like you've got it.
Okay, now.
Act like you've got it.
Well, like you were just explaining, Clint, I tend to not listen to the mainstream narrative. I don't.
But I think
I understand.
This is where people say, "Well, you're a conspirator, you're conspiracies and all that." The fact is, if you watch it and you see holes in it, then you're going to bring it to the attention of people. So I need to see it to then tell people that this is not right.
Yeah, that is very true. I think the thing is we've got to a stage where there are patents for mind control devices, and they're the televisions in the room. Yeah, the big elephant in the room is the device that's been programming you for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And actually, it's got worse and worse until we've got to a state where even the media have told us that they're fake news because so many other people are not getting their news from them anymore. They're actually getting it from other sources and actually talking to each other.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid, officials are not being heard and not being listened to. The scientists are being brought and paid for by grants. They're not even doing scientific work.
Well, the scientists that we have,
money.
The scientists we have in our press conference,
they're doing as they're told. And if they come up with different results or they come up with something else, oh look, we found a cure, they're instantly shut down. They're instantly taken away. And the funny thing is it all boils back down. Everything we see in this world is in commerce. It's in trading as this, trading as that. And what we really need to get our heads around is that we've been duped.
Yes.
And they actually, in the sense of those wars were funded both for a long, long time, and the up that's going on currently is people like us. It always will fall down.
Even down to a story that when I heard the news, I thought, well, that's not right. I just know it's not right. I know within inside myself it's not right. Look, I congratulate people when they have babies and all sorts. It's wonderful. It's great. New life is fantastic. Yeah. But the fact is that it's the end of February that he came out and announced that he's getting married to Carrie and that they're going to have a baby beginning of summer. And the 28th of April, she has a baby. And everyone's doing very well.
Yeah.
Well, and she doesn't even look pregnant. There's a picture in the paper taken last month. There's no bump.
There was a today actually, and it was very good. It's quite an scene in a studio, two guys running, And the way that the camera is set up and that the angle of perception that it's recording this scene, it actually looks like someone's being murdered.
Yeah.
But actually what's happening behind the camera is just two men running across the screen. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, yes, she might not look pregnant. That might not even be her.
No. Well, I mean, as mad as it sounds, you know? I put the idea out a week ago. The fact that Boris Johnson, I mean, you know, obviously I don't like anyone dying, but you know, if we want to go in real conspiracy country, and some people are showing
to conspire is to conspire in a conspiracy against somebody. Well, I'm sorry, if I look at truth and I look at telling the truth,
yes,
and you class me as a conspirator, what am I conspiring to do other than expose the truth?
Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was not a conspirator. He was a realist.
Yeah, exactly. And he accumulated a following because he was speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you go back in the fabled Bible days, which is basically made up of sun reporters and all the rest of it, the Bible is the biggest shambolic. And if anyone reads the Bible or has read the Bible, then they believe extraterrestrials and of our understanding exist, which they do. But if you read that, you can see immediately the in relation to, because there's a lot of people actually putting the fact where we got pests, and you know, we got complete destabilization of humanity on the planet. My own belief. I'm not having a go at Christians or any particular religion. The end of the world and this is it and blah blah blah, the rest of it. It's not the end, it's the beginning. And transformation is difficult, but you know, you are the government have you here in their palm. They do. They have you in their palm. Believe it. Not me, not you, and not lots of people. But a vast majority. I put posts on Facebook where people have disagreed with me, and I take their it's a view, you know, it's your view, absolutely. And I put one on today on my wall that I'm absolutely disgusted with people that are doing an excellent job, and I'm not saying they're not all doing excellent, that are dancing to something with a body in a bag. Thing in all my life.
No, that was boring. It really was. It's just in the bag with COVID-19 on this foot. I mean, what the fuck?
The best way they hide what they're doing is they put it in front of your face.
Have to. It's part of the ritual.
Yes, and you know, there is time and everything, but this synchronized dancing that goes on in hospital worked on. They've had time to think about it.
Yeah, damn
it's not something that's just
a situation. They would all be all hands on deck, and there's lots of people in here that need treating. We don't have time to fucking dance.
No.
It's a fucking pandemic.
You know, I know people don't agree with what I say because they think that everyone's doing a great job. They are. Fortunately, there's many places they're not doing anything. Arrest patients. That's the people that need
all the backlog operations have all been cancelled. Days off because there's nothing for them to do. They're not in that department where they're treating COVID-19, and actually apparently has gone to prison because he's in the middle and started recording. He went a bit covert and maybe did go in a few restricted areas, but there is no pandemic. What the fuck are you on about? It's
and
bullshit.
we've seen the films in America of the epidemic there, where there's people filming hospitals absolutely empty.
There was a nurse, and she's from New York. She works in the actual hospital, and she's like, "No, this is just all rubbish."
Yeah,
it's just.
But people work there. You know, when this all comes out in the wash, which it will at some point, because there is, you see, part of it. And the problem is that you've got a lot of people in this that are not part of what they're doing. Because I know that they're putting their jobs on the line. I know that they are standing on a limb, but they're doing it like I do this show because I want to tell people what's going on.
It's because they have some compassion for humanity.
Yes. And because we care. And that's the most important factor.
Yeah, that's right. Because they care. Yeah.
I mean, I take my hat off, as I said earlier on, to Colonel Tom now. There's a man, 99, that decided he wanted to raise £1,000. He wanted to do something. This is old, what I would call the old school ethics of living in our world, which has gone and lost and forgotten. And that's why I bang on about it all the time, because, you know, that does not exist in our reality with people now. They're money-grabbing, self-centered, not interested in anyone, people. But he, that served through the wars and everything else, he decided, I'm going to go and walk in my garden. And he raised £31 million so far. I think it's phenomenal.
I do think it's phenomenal. I think he has, really done something really great there. But on the other hand, it's like, bless his heart, you know, that is really lovely. But then when you look at the NHS and you look where that £31 million is going to go, most NHS trusts are crucified by these, I can't remember if they're called CIS loans or whatever, the loans that they took out like 10, 15 years ago when they built loads of new hospitals. Basically, the reason why there hasn't been any budget for the NHS is because all these loans have come home to roost right now in the last couple of years. So the hospital trusts have had to obviously do its normal operations, but now all this money's being taken away because of these loans that they took out 15, 20 years ago. No one fucking talks about that. So this 31 million will just go in a hole somewhere. It won't really help towards anything. I can't obviously say that is what will happen, but you know, it's a bit like Grenfell Towers. How many millions did we raise for that? Did it ever go to any of the victims? Who the fuck knows? You wouldn't know. How could you prove that?
That is another story in itself. That is another story in itself, and a lot of people wouldn't agree with me again. But I watched that. And, you know, there was people reported afterwards. You can't see them things now. They've been taken off the YouTube and everything. But, you know, how many people died in that fire? 50 odd people or something?
Well, reported to. I think about 500 died, to be fair.
Sorry?
I think about 500 died, to be fair.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
And quick. It's like, and people won't agree again. It's like the Manchester bombing. The Arnold whatever her name is, that singer.
Yeah.
That went off in a corridor, and it showed you pictures of these bodies laying on the floor, about 5 or 6 of them. And after that, there was pictures sent out with these people that had died that then phoned up and said, I'm not dead.
Yeah. There's also, like, when you look at we like to call them false flag attacks, but basically where it's like a terrorism act or something like that. But if you look at all of them and you cross-examine them and you look at different accounts of things, like in America, like Sandy Hook and all them other different universities that supposedly these kids got murdered, they're the same fucking people.
Yeah.
And that's how blatantly in your face it is. They are the same actors that are hired to do the interviews with the camera.
Yeah.
And every single fucking false flag attack. And that's why we're all fucking jumping off our nuts.
Yeah.
Just call me crazy if you like. I don't care. You can have a different view, but when you analyse it all,
it goes even further back. It goes further and further back.
It does.
And even to Twin Towers. There's no planes ever went into any buildings. No planes hit any buildings there. That's
actually been proven now as a fact that it was controlled demolition.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing what you can do with whatever you call it. You know,
CGI,
yeah. And you know, there's no way that they were taken down by planes. And actually, 7 planes went missing that day. 2 of them never reported. So where are all those people? That's what I want to know. Where are they all?
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
probably in the Bermuda Triangle with the rest of them.
Yeah, probably are with MH370, which has never been found.
It's probably just out the top of into the next part of the flat Earth.
The one thing that really interests me with this advert, coronavirus, stay at home, whole page of it, stay at home to help us save lives. Not save the NHS, help us save lives, act like you've got it. What a stupid, whoever wrote this wants shooting. Act like you've got it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just because we know that the darkness and the cabal have lost.
Yes.
And this is their last-ditch attempt at trying to keep the fear. Let's still see who's in fear. Because this has all been a big test, really.
Yes.
To see how subordinate we are to rules and guidelines. Don't forget, they only said guidelines. They never said it was the law. They never said it was rules.
No.
They said guideline. Now, what is a guide? A guide is something that guides you. That's all it does. It doesn't say that you must do this. It doesn't say that you have to do this. It doesn't say... So, you know, I admit, yeah, there might be some people that have died of it, right? But at the end of the day, we've done very well to just roll over and let our bellies be touched, haven't we? Where's all the men gone? Where's all the fucking... Do you know what I mean?
Where's the backbone?
Crazy. Where's the backbone? We were proud. So the funny thing is, we were very, very proud. It was very proud to be an Englishman. Now that term is gone. We're not English anymore.
No.
We're British, or we're from the United Kingdom. Well, no, we're not actually. I'm an Englishman, and I'm proud to be English because that's where I'm from. That's all that label carries.
Yeah.
I don't actually take it with me to be like, oh, I've got one up better than you in an ego type way. It's more just that's where I was born, so that's where I come from. That's all it is. But yeah, it's just
people have become so insular, so complacent, and so they're locked down before they're locked down, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And you know, something else I was going to talk about tonight, getting away from coronavirus, is the fact that what happens in the world, because what happens in the world has effect on all of us, because it's all about nature. We're all interconnected. And, you know, looking at the worldometer, can you hear me okay? Yeah?
I can, yeah. So I look at loads of people outside clapping.
Oh, right. Oh, yes. It's 8 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah. You will see. Yeah. I'm not even going to go there. You will see right now on the worldometer that in the world so far today, and across all sections of time, obviously, because of the time lags in different countries, we have got so far today, the people that have died of hunger is 25,534, and it going up and up and up. It's now 35 and 36. 25,537 people today have died of hunger in the world we live in.
It's wrong.
You've got to have a reality check here, because this is not just, this could be anywhere in the world. And I'm sure that there are people, and we're not hearing this. There's a news blackout completely. I don't know what's going on out there, because I find it very strange, and I'm sure you do as well. The fact that there aren't people up in arms saying, I haven't got any food. I haven't got any money. Nobody's doing anything. And I'm sure there are people there struggling beyond belief.
Yeah, I bet there is.
But to be in context, you know, and I know a lot of people say, well, you know, a lot of them people are not in this country. Well, I don't care. They're still people. They're still souls. And we should care.
Exactly.
25,500 people today so far have died of hunger. And, you know, one of the things that's amazing is 8,001,512,486 no access to safe drinking water in the world.
Isn't that bad? That's just so bad in today's world. It seems that there are things that you can do to the water to make it drinkable or make it cleaner.
Yeah, but why do we have there's many problems with this. One is obviously the governments in their countries who don't care, purely don't care at all about their people. And because they sit in power and they do what they want, which goes back to power corrupts. And all of us to sit by and let it happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's disgusting. It's a disgrace. You know, and people say, well, you shouldn't read things out like that out. But, you know, what the hell? You know, I mean, it's just nobody talks about 102,000 people so far this year that's died during childbirth.
How many have died of suicide this year since January?
354,843 in the world
have died of suicide.
Yes.
Shit. Bloody hell. And then how many have died of coronavirus up to date?
Coronavirus?
Yeah.
I haven't got the exact figure on that, but seasonal flu deaths is 161,017.
So worldwide, we could possibly say that we're probably nowhere near 100,000 deaths of coronavirus yet.
What, here?
Really?
In this country?
Worldwide,
probably not. No.
So where is this pandemic then? Where is this? You know,
you aren't the only person asking pandemic.
I would just like to say, live on YouTube, that I was the first to say that this virus is of the mind, and that is all it is. It's the damage that they're trying to cause on the psyche, and see, like we said, a test to see who is conformist and who isn't.
Yeah.
And this is where the great divide is going to come. This is the big divide that's coming. And it's a case of you can't save these people. And I always thought it was, you know, we have to save everybody because that's our duty. But actually, you can't. You can't tell someone what to believe. They have to come to their own conclusion. They have to see it for themselves. Because if they don't see it for themselves, they will argue till the cows come home.
It's interesting. Something's just flagged up on my screen. Alan Sugar, you know Alan Sugar, you're fired. He's shared a fake coronavirus theory, and he's been slammed as a very dangerous post.
Has he been banned? Has he been given a ban?
No, I don't know about that. He's been fired. But I mean, looking at that, even Trump, right? Now, people have all sorts of theories and understanding about Mr. Donald Trump, bit of a cartoon character and all sorts, who actually isn't doing any press conferences anymore because he says it's all fake news that's written about him, who stood up and said, well, we might look at actually injecting disinfectant into ourselves.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry to say, some people have tried it or drink it.
See, the thing is about Trump is, and especially if you follow the Q stuff, is that he drops hints about things. Yeah. And he talks in a bit of a code. If you actually listen to him, he's a very clever man. I'm sorry. Donald
Trump, I take my hat off to for saving 35,000 children from being eaten by the rich and famous, or being screwed by the rich and famous, the elite, as they call it, or their Hunger Games that they do with these children. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually feel that Trump actually is one of the good guys, actually.
Yeah.
I feel he's one of the, because he doesn't conform.
He doesn't conform, and he doesn't get persuaded to have a different opinion because he's been pulled up on something.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the other day. Now, I don't believe in all the misogyny because the media can spin whatever they want you to spin. Yeah. Whatever they ever want you to see. So when, you know, people, all right, he may have made a comment. He may have been a bit flippant. He may have been this, that, and the other. But when you actually see, like, when he's in that pit where all them journalists asking him questions, and he knows which companies they work for. Yeah. You know, he said the other day, I watched one, this lady said to him, why do you keep calling it the Chinese virus? He said, because it came out of China.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he's not wrong, is he?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but he's not wrong. It came out of Wuhan. It came out of China.
Yeah.
How can you crucify that if they're being correct?
Isn't it strange, though, that, I mean, my cousin brought this up, which is very, very true, actually, that, you know, it was in Wuhan, it's rife, but in Shanghai, there was nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's also
but there's no connection between 5G and this, of course.
No. it's also interesting that a Nobel Prize winner, scientist, doctor, can't remember his name. I saw it on Facebook today. I think he might be Japanese or Chinese, but he's a Nobel Prize winning scientist or doctor, and he's actually come out today and said that he was working with all the technicians in Wuhan, and he believes they're all now dead.
Yeah.
He also said that this is not a natural virus; this is a man-made virus.
Yeah.
And he said, if I'm proven wrong later on, you can have my Nobel Prize. and that's how confident he was that this is a fake virus with a fake patent, and this is just bullshit. Basically, this is of the mind. Why do you think they've called it corona? Not only does corona in Latin mean crown, which is on your head, but it also is the thing that is ejected out. The
it is corona.
Ejection.
Yeah.
Let's call it that. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing about corona, is she's the patron saint of pandemics, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And you couldn't make it up.
You couldn't make it up. It says Diana on the 13th pillar. It's got significant meaning. Everything's got significant meaning. And they're working with an energy that actually they have no idea what they're dealing with.
No.
Jason McCusbro has just commented and said it's great that people show how thankful to the NHS and to carers in general. And I would say, actually, I feel that is completely, and I mean, I agree that we should appreciate what they do because they're immense, but they're doing the job that they wanted to do, that they're paid to do. They're not paid enough. They need to be paid more, much more than they are. But it's not just about the NHS. It's about the road sweepers. It's about the people you go into a shop and you buy something, the petrol attendants, all manner of people. It's not just about the NHS. And the carers, obviously, forgotten people, you know. He says it's great that people show how thankful to the NHS and the carers in general. However, I mean, I haven't been outside and clapped, and I don't intend to go outside and clap. I show my appreciation in what they do by knowing that they do the job that they're doing because they're very good at it. He said it's great that people show how thankful to the NHS and the carers in general. However, I feel we should be congratulating ourselves as well, being social animals, for staying in as much as we can.
Yeah, true. That is very true. See, the thing is, the one thing we have to understand is the NHS is a part of the military arm.
Yeah.
The military couldn't function without a hospitalised version of a military base, because obviously everything's in wards, same as an army camp.
Yeah.
And when you go to war, you have the hospitals, don't you? You have the military hospitals. So basically, the NHS is actually about keeping slaves proactive. It's about keeping people. You come in with a complaint, we patch you up, we get you back out to work, as working in your servitude as quick as possible, because that's actually what they do. They don't ever fix the real problem. They're very good at the physical.
Yeah.
They're not so good at the mental. They're definitely not very good at stuff at all.
But isn't it? We don't go to the root problem.
That's why a doctor never cures anything. You go to a doctor and say, "Oh, I've got this complaint here." He's just written out a prescription for you to take some drugs for 2 weeks. Great. Yeah. Thanks, doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all we've done as a whole world.
Well, actually, you wouldn't actually. If you went to a doctor last year or the year before and you had a virus, they tell you to go home. They wouldn't give you any medication because all of a sudden they stopped giving people antibiotics.
Yeah.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah. Something that completely destroys your immune system anyway, because it destroys all the good bacteria in your gut. Yeah, where you have to take probiotics to put the good stuff back in after you've had antibiotics. Not saying it doesn't work, but there's a reason it works. It's because it strips everything.
Yeah.
I just think for us who have an alternative view, I switched off from using mainstream doctors nearly 5 years ago. I don't go to them for anything, and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Unless I was forced to go, I would not go. Because I know
to be honest,
I could find an alternative cure, alternative therapy, or whatever, and it would work. And that would be why I wouldn't go.
Jason McCusbro, I'll say exactly what I know that he's thinking as he's listening tonight or watching. because
Why
and
are you
it's
angry?
true that the fact that if we any illness that we have in this reality, there is a cure in our reality for it.
Yep.
Debbie Johnson says that she's just watched the film Contagion. Is it Contagion?
Oh, right. Yeah, Contagion. Yeah.
This was prepared, everything in the film, like reality. You see,
Yeah.
the thing is, what you don't realise, well, not you realise, but these films are there because they're actually showing you what's real. When I talked about before, and people think I'm mad, Star Wars, Steven Spielberg, and Star Wars with Lucas. There's so much detail and attention in this that it's way beyond the realms of just a mythological thing. It's real.
Yeah. It's subliminal programming.
Yeah, and the fact that I was talking about a few weeks ago that Trump is bringing out the his space fleet, and it looks like the thing that you get on Star Trek, the badge.
Yeah, that's right.
The
Starfleet.
Starfleet. Yeah. You know, and this is a known fact, and people out there go, "Well, I don't believe that. It's a load of rubbish," but it isn't. Outside in our space, as you've seen with the huge docking stations and flying the craft and flying, they even showed it on. They showed it on a film. I can't remember what the film is, but Battleship, I think it was. A flying spaceship aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Because it's real. It exists. It's absolutely as real as I sit here.
Yep. Oh, there's loads that we don't know about, Clint. The military have always been 10 years ahead of anything in the public.
But you've got to ask yourself, how did they get their advancement so quick? If you look at what we've done in 10 years, you know, in what we have in our hands, just in what I'm talking to you on.
Yeah.
It's there's no way man would be able to create all of that. It's had help. It's had help from extraterrestrial races that are here that are not good, I feel.
Yeah. Perhaps, yeah. Well, yeah, definitely.
But there is good here as well.
Last time, so you know, whatever's in that place has got some very, very big secrets.
Yes, it has. But there's places even more secret than that place.
Look at Roswell.
And well, even you can go to Australia actually to a place called Pine Bank. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Pine Bank, you can't get within 10 miles of, and you are shot. You are taken out if you go anywhere near that building.
There's one really funny thing I find about all of my research is the Treaty of Antarctica.
Oh God, that's a fascinating subject. That is Antarctica that doesn't exist on the European Union flag. It doesn't exist. It's not there.
Nope.
It's not there. And Antarctica, to give you an idea how big that is, it is the size of Europe. It's massive, as you know.
But it depends if you believe if the Earth is a ball or if it's flat.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the United Nations flag, that is a flat Earth model.
It's a flat Earth model, yeah.
Yeah. With the Antarctica being on the outside. The other interesting thing about that is, I think it was 1927 they signed that treaty, something like that.
Yeah, there is. I think there's 119 countries who have ownership of that of Antarctica.
So if me and you plan to go to Antarctica next year,
you won't.
We wouldn't be able.
We wouldn't be allowed to.
We wouldn't be able to get there because we wouldn't be allowed to. There's a treaty there. But the really interesting thing about all of that stuff is Sir Admiral Byrd.
Yes.
When you go and research him
completely.
You look at what he did, and you look at what he said when he came back.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, come on. Yeah, there's more out there.
You only have to look at the world figures, including members of our royal family, as well as President of America and high dignitaries that were all flown out to Antarctica to see something. Now, what they see underground in Antarctica, there was a spaceship that was 3 miles long, 3 miles wide, and it was full of giants that were asleep. They're chronogenically asleep. It was reported. I mean, that what was his name that went into space, that went to Antarctica, and he sees stuff, gave him a heart attack. Buzz Aldrin. He he put a tweet out. He said, I've seen stuff today that terrified me so much so that he had a heart attack. It was taken off straight away.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are things that is way beyond the bloody coronavirus and the stupid twattish people in our media that sit there and put out bilge. Do you know what I mean? If you want to watch real news, go and watch Al Jazeera, go and watch RT. They actually pick up on things that you should be looking at, not the garbage that comes from the BBC, not the garbage that comes from Sky and ITV and Channel 4. It's all bollocks.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think going forward, the only way this is all going to change is it has to come down to you.
Yeah, it does.
It has to come down to your want for the truth, your want for freedom, your want for rights and justice and all of that stuff. It has to come from within. We are never going to change this world if we don't start the journey. And that's what it's all about. And for us spiritual people, or for us truthers, it's a case of we have been down these rabbit holes because we've become obsessed about trying to know what the truth is. And it's not just about my truth or your truth or perception of truth. The truth is absolute. You can't change the truth. Me and you might have different views of what that truth is, but the truth will still be there.
Yeah, but the truth has a thread. The truth has a thread that runs through it with all of us.
Yes.
Because we know that we're lied to. That is the key. That we are being sold down a river with no humility, no respect, and complete contempt. And all the time I breathe, I'm not having it. Do you know what I mean?
No, me neither.
I'm not having it. And you know, if we look forward at how we actually get out of this, what do you think that plan is? I'd be interested to see what you got to say with that.
Okay, so I have a few brothers and sisters who have exited the system. They have managed to get their sovereign status sorted out, and they have informed every office of the government. My friend Craig, we were talking the other night, and basically, if you look at the government and you look at your life, in the government, there is a ministry or a minister of every single thing that would ever affect your life. Yeah. And he said the way to look at it is like the Ministry of Magic in Harry Potter. Yeah. That is what the government is. It's a Ministry of Magic because there is a minister for everything.
Well, I can well believe that, because there is an ambassador for extraterrestrial races in the UN.
Yeah.
And you know, there is also a UFO department in this country.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and I completely agree with you. When I know what you're saying, but in regards to how, looking at the lay people out there, looking at ourselves, what's going to materialize? How because they're in a bit of a mess here, and there's a lot of people that know they're in a mess. How are they going to right this? How are they going to get people? They're not ever going to go back to being what they were before, because social distancing, in 10 years' time, children won't know what hugs are. The social distancing is here. This is a Fourth Reich agenda.
Yeah, totally is. So it depends. So this, for me, is what I've been struggling with since the lockdown, because when you look at when you look at the Trump stuff and the Q stuff, and you're expecting somebody to come and save you, that is, I'm afraid, from my perspective, that's never going to happen.
No. Because
it has to start from you. You have to know about this shit. You have to want to know about this shit, because it affects all of us, actually. The way I see it is that it's one of two things. It's either it's the awakening for everybody, or it is tyranny, absolute dictatorship. And that is the two sides of what is going to happen.
Because
It's
when
either one
they
or the
stand
other.
there and they say, we really care about you,
Fucking
they
bullshit.
lie
When have
through
they
their,
ever
they're
cared about
lying
us,
through their
really?
teeth. They do not care about you.
No. They only care about the profits that they're making out of you. They don't give a fuck about you.
No, because the problem is that what we've lived on this planet up until this lockdown, it's a slave race. A slave race. What they've done is given technology, mobile phone, laptop, and technology everywhere to confuse people and to control people. And then what they clearly do is the fact that they throw little tidbits sometimes so that we can actually feel, well, they're doing something, but it's all a load of bollocks. And it comes down to the fact that, you know, they make your life more and more constrained, and you become more and more pinned in a corner. But where we sit at the moment is a place where everyone, I'm talking everyone, has freedom to a degree. So there isn't
freedom of servitude, anyway.
Freedom of service. We sit in our own space in the prison that is wherever we live, if you're lucky enough to live somewhere. But you can walk out your door, but don't expect you won't be stopped, because you will. You know what I mean? Because that's the road we're going down. And, you know, I feel that the possibilities of how this runs, I can only see if things don't move soon, I do feel the dejection, the confusion, the utter stress value that people are under.
There's going to be so much anger and rage.
There is going to be aggression, anger, rage. There's going to be civil disobedience. I'm not condoning civil disobedience.
No.
There is, as you said, evolution rather than revolution.
That's right.
Because
that's what it'll be.
You know, with everything, when things get bad and we are in a situation and we're being lied to, people are not going to have it. I think actually now, even now, if you look outside, if you go outside, you actually find there's more people out there now. There's more cars on the road. People are starting to get fed up with this. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that these statistics that 624 people died today, apparently. Well, I don't know anyone. I don't know anybody that actually has lost somebody through coronavirus. Now, that doesn't mean that we haven't lost people, but, you know, I know people that's been ill with it.
But the thing is, Clint, is the symptoms are just like the flu.
Yes.
They're just like many other things. So
this is what I was talking about.
Who gives a fuck? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually. You've got a 95.2% chance of survival.
Yeah.
Oh my God! When did the world lock down over 8.8%?
Yes. Or 1% of the population, or less than 1% of the population of our country actually dying, which is on average, which is bearing an average of actually what happens every year when we have seasonal flu.
Yeah. And no one gives a shit then.
Well, no. What happened last year? What happened the year before? What happened? You can probably look back when you had very, very bad flu. Thought you're going to die.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You can. And even someone who's fit and healthy could die of flu. It depends how it takes you, doesn't it?
Well, it depends on your immune system, and it depends how you're looking after yourself, what you eat, and all the rest of it.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. I just think that it's the great divide is coming. It's those who believe the government are going to save them, and there's those that are not going to listen to the government anymore and actually save themselves, and that's what's coming. And I'm afraid there is no more time for sitting on the fence. You really have to make a decision whether you are for what they are going to dish out to us, or you have some sense about you and actually start learning. My first thing is learning your rights, learning who you are. You have to know who you are in this realm, because there's so many constructs that are wrapped around us, and we have no idea that they're there. No idea.
Yeah.
And this is why you will never navigate the system, because you have no idea about the system itself anyway.
No,
We were
because
never
they don't
taught
want you to
anything.
know about it because you can tie them in
No.
knots.
How do you keep a race enslaved by not letting them know who they are? Of
Yeah.
course, it's simple.
Which then comes into play that really, have you got your true identity in this reality? Which many people haven't.
No, they've not been authentic for years. They've been hiding away under whatever egotistical mask they've been wearing for a long time, just to hide from certain people, because that's the face I need to wear for them, and that's the face I need to wear for them. They're not their true selves. They have a lot of, and then there's all the anxieties and all the other like syndromes and all sorts of shit that we come up with when we're just masking something that's probably, just something that we can sort out ourselves. We can do it.
Yeah.
It's recognition and learning what to do, isn't it? It's learning how to cleanse yourself. It's learning how to heal yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're not taught anything, Clint. That's from indoctrination. It's not. It's programming at its highest level, which is what the Nazis come up with.
Yeah.
Is if we program the kids from an early age in school, we can indoctrinate it out of them by the time they get to be men, and they won't question us, and they won't ever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Limbs, they have shot themselves in the foot, basically, because no one is going to hospital for any illness. GPs are sat idle. A&E departments have nothing to do, and cancer referrals have dropped by 200,000. The government is now panicking that no one wants to use the NHS.
So how did 630 people die today then?
Well, yes, it doesn't add up.
Doesn't add up, does it?
And that is on top of 15,000 people or 20,000 people still flying into this country from Iran, from all over the world, and the hotspots and that are not being checked, not being temperature checked or anything. I've been banging on about it for weeks.
Yeah.
Only last week did they start talking about it. And I'm not saying that Piers Morgan and his GMTV crowd and all sorts pick it up, but it's very weird that I speak about this and the next day they're talking about it on their show. Do you know what I mean? But the fact is nobody was talking about it, and the fact is it's wrong. And they had experts on there saying, well, and the government came on and said, well, we are looking at it. Well, we're looking at this. 2 months down the line, we're actually looking at actually we're thinking about stopping flight. Well, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? It's too late.
Yeah, it is. It is too late. Of course it is. You just reminded me of something, and I'm not going to talk about it on your YouTube video, but I'll talk to you in private about it.
One of the other things I find fascinating, you're talking about people coming together, and I think there is a generalization of people that are coming together in all walks of life. And there's a man called John Mappin. Do you know John Mappin?
No, I've not heard of John Mappin.
Camelot Castle Hotel.
Okay.
He has Camelot Castle TV. I've stayed there once. It's a very interesting place to go and stay.
Is that in Tintagel?
Yes.
Yeah.
The very big hotel on the edge.
On the end there. Yeah.
Now
looks like a castle.
I don't share all his beliefs and all sorts, but there's a thread that strands through this. The fact that he wants to know the truth. And I take my hat off to him because he has something called Camelot Castle TV, and he has different guests on and talking about all sorts of different things. And he's had some people on there that are talking a lot of sense. Now, yes, he has an agenda. I'm not saying agenda, but he has a different understanding spiritually to me because he's a Scientologist. But not taking that away, the person is wanting to know the truth. Now, John Mappin is an heir to the Express newspaper business. He's a multi-millionaire. Now, that person doing what he's doing, I take my hat off to. Do you know what I mean? Because he's actually standing out from the crowd.
Yeah, doing his own thing.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
And wanting to get a truth out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Trouble is, I suppose, in this digital age, there is just so much information.
Well, that is the problem.
It's so hard to decipher.
Yeah.
Because especially with an indoctrinated mind.
Yeah.
Because actually, you've been taught to follow. You've been taught to look for your leader.
Well, we were taught many moons ago to be loyal, honest, and open. Respect our elders. I'm going back to the time of Captain Tom.
Sure.
When Great Britain was great in a way with its unity. The only time I've ever seen that any time was the murder of Princess Diana, where that brought a conscience together on this planet. But going back to the, in the war, you've got situations there that are just, situation would not arise, you would not have in this world. This is what I'm saying. In this country, you will not have that pulled together spirit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to know what governments get up to, I'll tell you what, they need to go and watch Game of Thrones, because when you watch Game of Thrones, you've got leaders there and people in power, and I'm talking, it's no different in today's world it is then. The corruption and the things they do to cover their tracks is just off the radar.
Yeah.
And that's happened throughout history. It's not a new thing.
Trouble is, we've got we've become
a lot of people have got lazy.
Well, yeah, we've become. Yeah, but trouble is, we're so poisoned. We're so malnutrition. Suffering with malnutrition and lack of in our own bodies, and with all the mental problems and all the self-esteem and all of that stuff as well. That actually we can't do this stuff.
No, and then they come out with...
become conditioned to accept what our captors are telling us, or our so-called leaders.
Then they come out with absolute shite, like what's in front of my screen. Like, I watched a tiny bit. I don't even bother with their press conferences for the government, because they're monkeys, basically. But they're talking about the R rate. What the fuck are they going on about? Do you know what I mean? How R rate decides when lockdown ends. Keeping it below 1 vital to getting cases down. I mean... R equals 1 apparently. What are they going on about?
Just trying to confuse you with some bullshit.
It is absolute codswallops, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's bullshit. So basically, we've become there's a thing called Stockholm syndrome, and go and look it up. Stockholm syndrome is where you, the captive, actually defend and support your captors, and that's where we've got to this point where we're actually supporting these criminals and these traitors.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they are.
Because if you look back in their lineage, the Game of Thrones is not far off the truth. Because this country was carved up by the then beginners of the Masonics, the beginners of the Knights Templars, and the church, and the Catholics and the Roman Catholics and Christianity and everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because none of it's real. That's the thing.
Really. No. The thing is, we all have the sovereign right to the land, and that is our birthright. But that's what's been taken away from us. We've been taught that we're not sovereign beings, that we're not divine, that we're not, who we are.
Yeah.
But we're actually slaves, and we have to pay to live on this planet.
Yes.
Pay.
Yeah, but not just pay once. We're born, and you're given a national insurance number. Then you go out to work, and you pay tax on what you earn. Then you go out the door, and everything you do when you go outside that door, you pay tax on everything.
Yep. Everything.
Every single thing. Then you live in that house you pay tax on. And you have council tax for where you live. And you tax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when you retire, you still have to pay tax.
You do. But it's just the system and the construct that they've wrapped around us, and we have no understanding of it.
No, but I don't think they do anymore either. Oh God.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, they don't.
I mean, if I go back 7 years, long time ago, I was working in London, and I knew people that worked at Canary Wharf. This is 7 years ago. They were going to work, and they said to me, I met these people at the time. I won't mention names or anything, but these people said, we go to work, we haven't got a clue what we're doing anymore. We don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And Canary Wharf being the bankers sector of London.
Yeah.
And I've got very influential people saying to me, I don't really know what's going on anymore, Clint, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no clear objectives, or doing the same thing, but in a slightly odd way. Yeah, weird.
But money, I mean, it's interesting here because money is that, for a lot of people, money is everything. And it's not, because we come in this world with nothing, we go out with nothing. While we're here, we have opportunities with money, but money isn't all. What we have inside ourselves in compassion, care, understanding, balance, enrichment, creativity are the key holder points of what we are, and love, of course. And within all of those constraints, we have something where we look at this and we digest whatever situations we're in, and we work with the intention, the gut instinct within inside. This pandemic, as soon as it came out, it was a load of old rubbish. I don't believe any of it. I'm not having it. And therefore, I'm going to stand up and say my piece, like you. Do you know what I mean? Now,
I am not going to back down from anything that I say
no.
on these subjects, because I've researched them. I've double cross-referenced everything. And I know it within myself that what I could tell you is the truth.
But this day was always going to come. This day was always going to come, Matthew. Because, unfortunately, what I look at the world as it is, and certainly this country, it was heading for implosion. It was heading for a breakdown, basically. And there's many factors to that, including nature, in relation to stopping the human race to actually gain something back, because we've been destroying it. But it's also about reflection. It is looking at ourselves, and it is about where we're going and what we're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What we've lost is our connection to nature, and you've already said this before, but we've lost that connection to source. We've lost that connection to our higher selves, and we've lost the compassion for each other. Really, we have. There's a few of us that obviously love everybody and suffer dearly from it when we get narcissists attach themselves to us. But
you know as well that journey, on your journey, my journey, and everyone out there listening's journey, that is not an easy journey, because you meet takers, you meet people that are there to damage. You meet people that they're trying to lock you down, trying to hold you back, trying to suppress you.
And then at the end of it, you're left all on your own in complete solitude, because it's only a journey that you can take on your own.
Yes.
It is just, it is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Yeah.
You always reminded me, Matthew, I said this loads of times, but you always reminded me, because you're a young version of me, really, in relation to yourself, because I have a lot of respect for you, young man, because I look at you and look at me years ago. I mean, I'm not old, but I'm knocking on. Do you know what I mean? But I was like you. I was around the world giving talks on all manner of different things, and I know we skirted over the flat Earth bit, if you like, but in a while, I used to go and do a massive talk called the Soul and the Paranormal of the Hollow Earth, which was very much about what is really going on that is hidden from us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think going forward, we really need to learn our rights. If anybody wants to get in contact with me, they're more than welcome to come and have a chat and talk about this stuff. I can point you in the right direction to learn some stuff. But the key things are the constructs that have been wrapped around us in this realm. When I talked about commerce and stuff, everything is contract. Everything is consent. If you do not consent, it does not apply to you. Whether you think that's right or wrong or not, that is the truth. That is the bare bones of it. So if there is a wrong, you can put it right. You can never bring a claim without bringing the remedy. You can never do that. Yeah. Just like the stinging nettle, you can't have the stinging nettle without the dock leaves. Yeah. There's always
there's always something to compensate it. Yes.
Yeah. So I think learning your rights is imperative to know how to navigate around this bullshit, because like I said before, the government have issued guidelines, and we've all stuck to them like it's the fucking law. I mean, what the fuck is going on around here? And it just shows you the level of people where people are at. They're nowhere near starting.
Yeah, but they're using the one word that terrifies them is fear. They're using fear beyond belief. I talk about the news as fear porn. They're getting their rocks off. They're getting their rocks off doing this to the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they are, mate. They are. But yeah, I suppose it's just up to us, way showers and people that are aware, to spread this consciousness, and that's what I've been sowing seeds for at least, well, ever since I woke up. I was throwing seeds everywhere, trying to wake people up and nudge people, and in the end, you have to give up and take a bit of a step back, because actually you
have to take time out sometimes.
You have some failed attempts, and people look at you. But I mean, that all comes down to the poisoning. Have a look at your diet. Look what you're consuming. Look at the toothpaste to start with.
Yeah.
All toothpaste bought in a supermarket has fluoride in it.
Yeah.
And if you're consuming fluoride, that is actually classed as a neurotoxin. That's why on the tub or on the tube it will say, if swallowed, go to the disease control centre. You know, the toxic place. Go to the hospital and get bloody flushed out or whatever. Yeah. So we're brushing our teeth with poison. We're drinking it because it's in the water, and that fluoride.
We go swimming. We go swimming in it as well.
That's and that's the biggest attack on our body, and particularly the pineal gland, which is your connection to everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So change your diet, and you will start to see even clearer. Yeah, it's not just about all this conspiracy stuff or what's termed conspiracy. It's also about detoxifying your body. I mean, the air is toxic, the fucking water is toxic, the food is toxic. You know, it's all around us.
Everything that we consume or we touch has been contaminated in one shape or form. So, and even the skies, when you walk outside, and I know that I've seen you out there doing films, the chemtrails and everything else as well. Now, what people don't realise, them chemtrails might be in the sky, but it comes down to the ground and comes down onto bodies, and then it goes in the ground. It doesn't go away.
I'll tell you one thing that I would like to just bring to everyone's attention today. Did you notice that when we had a few nice sharp showers, the blue sky underneath it all, oh my God, it cleared this sky today. It's just amazing. So natural. So how I remember it as a kid. And I'm not that old either.
No, you're young. You're a wee snapper, you are.
I'm nearly 40.
Well, you know.
1400
or 40. Yeah.
40 millennials.
I do feel we will come out of this, and I do feel not just because of the positivity they carry, but I feel that we're going to go through a bit of pain to get there, but we will come out of this, and we will be okay.
I think what everyone really needs to concentrate on is actually trying to create open discussion within their communities and come together as communities.
Very difficult, though.
Get them in fear. Yeah.
I mean, there was a demonstration. I will let you go in a minute. I know, but there was a demonstration in Glastonbury where that were there. And they had a speaker which happened to be Jeremy Corbyn's brother.
That's right, yeah.
Speaking of Piers Corbyn, that's it, yeah. Speaking a truth to him and all sorts. Now, I see on social media that it went into absolute meltdown with people living in these are spiritual people. These are spiritual people I know that were saying this is disgusting, this is disgraceful, they should be taken away, this is wrong. Shot. Get rid of them. And I'm thinking, you can't behave like that. They're human beings. And supposedly, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I think next Tuesday, I do believe there is something organised for London, actually.
Yeah, there is. Well, the thing is, what I found with spiritual stuff is that a lot of people that claim to be spiritual, they might be spiritual, but they're not they're still programmed and indoctrinated the same as everybody else. And if you have no inclination that the government's doing this or doing that or whatever, or you've never really questioned anything, and you're spiritual, I'm sorry, but it's going to be as big a shock to you as it is the people we like to call sheep.
Absolutely, I totally agree, and that is the problem within the spiritual community.
There's a lot of ego in
there. Oh my God! You know, it's the one thing you cannot have above all. I've had arguments with people saying you must have ego. Well, no, it's not about ego. It's not about ego. It's about you inside you and what you can do. And that isn't about I'm the most amazing person in the world scenario. Do you know what I mean?
Look at me.
Yeah, because
I can do this.
You know as well as I do that the spiritual network in relation to, I studied shamanism, and I studied with the College of Management and Science, not Management and Science. Sorry, it's a totally different thing I studied there. Shamanism was with the School of Shamanic Studies, the Danish School of Shamanic Studies in Denmark and London, and I bet
that was amazing, wasn't it?
Absolutely phenomenal. The things that happened there was just off the radar, which opened the door to understanding multiverse basically, multi-layers, and then obviously because I wanted to amalgamate it to a science, I then studied with the College of Management and Science parapsychology. So the psychology of the paranormal. In other words, you know, I understand the spiritual side. I want to understand the science. And you know, the fact is that when I was doing the shamanic course, there was like 8,000 sites. Not many. There's now millions of sites on shamanism. There is so many people out there that profess to be what they are, that they're not, because what they're on a bandwagon of a massive money machine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course I do. I only have to look at something like aura transformation. I looked at that about 2 years ago. Holy shit. For one session, it was like 450 quid. And I was like, what the fuck? What are you going to do to me?
I know. Yeah, can I have it in gold and can I put it on my wall?
And you're going to get rid of some of my chakras, really?
Yeah, and you're going to screw me up at the same time. You know, I said to one person once in Glastonbury, I said they got off a bus, and they came up to me and they said, I'm really excited to be in Glastonbury. I've not been here before. I'm really into meditation and that. I really want to learn loads more. Can you suggest where I can go and what I can do? And I said, well, you can walk up and down that high street and spend $2,000 and you'll be more screwed up than when you arrived.
Well, yeah, it's not wrong, is it?
You know, I mean, the thing is that in spirituality, I've been doing it a long time, there is a discipline. There's a discipline to everything, and a respect and a code of conduct. And within that respect and code of conduct, it is very much about, you know, there's no ego, there's no you. It's about genuinely helping people.
Yeah, totally. About helping others, service to others.
Yes.
Helping them connect, helping them.
And I said them 3 questions tonight I put out there. Who are you? Why are you here? And what's your purpose? Because I tell you now, every single person, me, you, all of the people listening, watching tonight, all have purpose because they're here right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who you are is very intricate because it is about opening up the soul within inside yourself, delving into who you are within you, getting rid of the demons and the pain and the suffering and God knows what else, and then looking at why you are here. And you're here because you're meant to be here because you chose to be here. You know, we wouldn't have this conversation if I didn't choose to be here, because I wouldn't be here.
That's right.
And that journey has an historical element in relation as we get older and older. We dissect and look through, clear, and get rid of all the rubbish and the garbage that we've had in our lives. And we become just ourselves, where we don't let any of it affect us anymore.
I must admit, I would say on that by not looking at the past, we all have a moment of reminiscing or something, you know, a memory comes up and you tune into that. But when you stop living in the past and you start bringing yourself into the present, and you stop looking too far into the future, because obviously that ungrounds you as well. It's a case of, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's all right.
It went straight out of the house. Yeah. I'll say something, Ken.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, you've been amazing tonight, Matthew. I'm very grateful
Sorry,
for calling.
I got to go. I said too much.
No, you're fine. No problem at all. It's just interesting. Look, views are really important, and whatever them views are, and you know, and you know as well as I do that the people that complained about somebody sitting on a park bench with a police officer trying to move somebody just because she wanted to watch the sunset. A lot of people complain about that because they're plugged into a system. Sorry, but that's it. End of.
Did you see the other one? Did you see the other one that I shared with you guys and everyone else?
No, I don't think I did.
Well, I'll send it to you. Is of a man and woman in their camper van just parked up in a council car park or park lay-by or whatever.
Yeah.
And these two female officers came up to them and tried to move them on, and they were like, "No, I'm sorry. We do not consent. We do not contract. We have no, we have nothing with your corporation." And the two police officers, and they even went on to say, "We completely respect who you are. We completely respect the job you're having to be doing right now and being told to go and do. But you need to respect that we know the law and we know who we are and we know who you are.
Yeah.
And you are not here for, you're here for common law. The common law is no harm, no loss, no injury, no fraud. Crime. There is no crime."
No.
And also, we know that Devon and Cornwall Police are owned by IBM Computers, therefore run by a corporation. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not about justice anymore. It's about money, and it's about
but corporations rule the world, full stop. Don't they? They really do.
And that's the scary thing about it. Is when you look at it, acts and statutes of which is classed as legislation. They are company rules, and that is what it is, because the United Kingdom is a corporate entity. It's a limited company. And that limited company, believe it or not, incorporates all of the other corporations within the United Kingdom. So everything that's been registered at HMRC as a corporate being, as in a company, belongs to the United Kingdom Limited, because the United Kingdom Limited is the top tier company. Yeah, it's the same in every single country. That's why all these big PLC companies have to take their direction from the government.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone, Travis Perkins, a couple of weeks ago, just before they shut, and he said, "We're being forced to close because we're a PLC. We're not a limited company. We're a public limited company. Yeah, slightly different, but we're bigger." And he said, "We just have to take our action straight from the government, basically." And I was like, "What?" There you go then. Just backs it all up.
I think
knowing your rights is imperative, because they're only guidelines, like we've spoken before, and these officers are being forced to come and enforce something that they have no idea about what their law actually is, because they've got so used to chasing these acts and statutes. Legislation is not law; it's company rules, and that's the way to see it.
And even the Cronus,
your national insurance number is actually your company number. That's your employee number. Yeah.
I know.
It's fucking mad, isn't it, really? But anyway, I'm going to say goodnight and give the opportunity for someone else to come on, maybe.
I'll tell you what, it's been fantastic speaking to you, Matthew, and thank you so much for ringing. I think we covered just about anything and everything you possibly imagine, which is great, because, this is what people need to hear. Whether they believe it or not, it's another thing. It doesn't matter. But
I'm not here to convince anybody.
No, I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm here to just throw concepts and ideas at people to actually look at something in a different way. If we take off the rose-tinted glasses, then we have full vision, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do. I also think that if any of you have to have a run-in with the police, and you do know your rights, the key thing with any dealings with these beings is being calm.
Yeah.
Do not lose your shit, because the police work on a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or whatever it is.
If you stay a 1 or a 2, you're fine.
As soon as you jump up that scale too far, they don't come back down. They up the scale.
Yeah.
And if they're on scale 5 and that's the top scale, guess what? They're going to put you in the back of a police car, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
They've already got that to that stage. So by staying calm and actually talking to them nicely with love and compassion, you'll actually see the human come out, and you won't see the corporate officer that they've become.
Yeah.
You'll see them malfunction. It's fucking phenomenal. It really is. But you have to be, I mean, I would say that lady on that bench was maybe a little bit antagonistic and a little bit fucking pushy.
Yeah.
She could have just said a little bit less and just been, look, I do not consent. I know you're a corporation. Da, da, da. She could have done it in a lot better way.
Well, she could have said that, and then they would have to physically move her, which would be assault in a way.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So just remember to treat everybody with love, compassion, and kindness, because at the end of the day, they are just doing what they think that they should be doing. But the most power is in your name, and we'll talk about that another time. Already talked about that. But just say.
And anyone wants to get hold of you, you can catch Matthew John on Facebook. Lovely guy. Known Matthew a long time. Really good guy.
Right. Take it easy, Clint. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye. All right. Bye. There we are. Matthew John. Lovely guy. Really knowledgeable. Always reminds me of what I used to be like years ago, and you know where we are now. I wanted to read something to you. Remember that the lines are open. 07403 436 942. That's 07403 436 942. You can do like Matthew, contact me, put your view across, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be about coronavirus. It can be anything we talked about, or anything, purely anything. What's your favorite recipe? Anything you want to talk about, you can come on and talk about. And you can also get me on Facebook Messenger under Clint Denyer, or WhatsApp me at Clint Denyer. 07403 436 942. That's a number to call. I want to read this post out that went on Facebook because I think it's very interesting. A lady called Yvonne put it on there, and she was feeling very annoyed. This is exactly what she wrote. I purposely haven't watched mainstream news for weeks, as I'm fed up trying to decipher what's fake and what's not. Before that, it's been years. I took the plunge and turned on BBC One, and I sat there open mouth when they admitted that apparently the virus can be killed off by being outdoors in the sun. If that's the case, why the hell are we all being made to stay indoors? Also, why, when asked by one of the reporters, did Yvonne, not her, state that the elderly are more vulnerable because they have lower immunity, and it depends what dosage they've had? Using the word dosage implies they've been given something on purpose. Lies upon lies. When will the truth on what's really going to be laid bare for all to see? Because nothing is adding up. Nothing adds up at the moment at all. I totally agree with her. And I do know that it is a minefield out there for people. I know it's a minefield because I know that you look at a lot of stuff, you think what's real, what's not real. And I know that it gets very confusing and it can be very bogged down. But the fact is, it is about holding your truth within inside you. All of us have a truth, one shape or form. It's what we feel. That comes from here, comes from the stomach. It's the gut instinct. And you have to follow that in this life. Gut instinct is very important, because if you don't follow it, then you find that actually you should have done. And sometimes we learn bad lessons through that. I do feel very strongly that gut instinct is your salvation point. That's when this came out, I knew straight away it's not right. When Boris had his baby, which is very nice, I'm very fantastic, well done. But there's something not right about it. And that's not because I'm what some people call a conspirator, is because I don't feel it's right. And when I don't feel it's right, there's something not right. There's something not just fishy, but wrong with it as well. And I'm sure you all understand and know those things within inside yourself as well. It's a lovely chat with Matthew. That's what we do on a Thursday. We have people just ring us up and talk about anything they want to talk about. And it might be something that I've triggered. It might be something I haven't even talked about at all. But this show is very much about bringing education, bringing understanding, and bringing a diverseness that doesn't exist in our reality. There is no shows on mainstream television that looks at anything like what we talk about. They don't go into the weeds. They don't go into the undergrowth of, or in between the bricks of what's really going on. And we need to, because attention to detail is the most important factor. Detail is the key. And, you know, when I dissect the news and I come and tell you things, it's because I'm not happy with it. And, you know, luckily I have this medium to be able to share it with you. Then you go away and you look at it and you think, well, that's a load of old rubbish, Clint, or actually, I quite agree with you. I do know that there is a massive rising tide of people out there dissatisfied by the dysfunctional society that we're being led down, by the people that try and blind us, which are actually fully aware of what they're doing. And, you know, don't ever think that any of them really care, because they don't. All right. I've enjoyed tonight. We are gonna, I think we're gonna wrap up. We've been going a couple of hours. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Inview Connect is very much about you, the listeners, participating, taking part. If you want to comment on anything that's been said tonight, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whatever you want to say, you can text me 07403 436 942, 07403 436 942, or you can Facebook message me at Clint Denyer, or you can WhatsApp me at Clint Denyer as well. I always enjoy coming out and speaking, not because of me. I have no ego, because all I do is I'm a facilitator, and I just sit here to connect to you. And all I want is for people to be aware and awake of where they're going, what they're doing, and how they combat the situation we sit in. And I send great energy out to all of you tonight. I know it's a big struggle, and I know it's very difficult. But in these difficult times, we knuckle down to bring out what we are inside ourselves, to manifest the world we want and manifest the truth inside we know. I've really enjoyed tonight. Thank you very much. We were back on Sunday. On Sunday, we have the Inview. That is the original program that I did. And to let you know who's on there this Sunday, we have got the amazing Linda Bassett, who is a psychic medium, a reader, many different things, very gifted. We have got Melanie Calloway, another reader, very gifted person as well. Both are outspoken in today's world in relation to what's going on as well, and they have a knowledge and wisdom. And then we have Faye Vale, who has not been on the show before. Faye, I've known for a long time back in Glastonbury. She is an artist. She's very into the UFO community and what's going on in and around our planet and on it as well. So she'll be a very interesting guest. Plus, as normal, we have got a surprise guest as well. So surprising that I won't even know it is until they come on. You've been amazing out there tonight, and thank you very much for listening, watching. If you liked what you watched or listened to, please subscribe to the channel, which you'll get automatic updates of when I'm on. And if you think that any of your friends or anyone that you feel would benefit from anything that's been said tonight, please share it. Please share the video. It will be put onto my Facebook wall. And obviously all of the existing, since we've been on YouTube Live, all the existing YouTube videos. The Inview and the Inview Connect are on here, and you can watch any of them at any point. Lots of interesting people, lots of interesting things have been said. Stay safe out there, everyone, and please, I look forward to seeing you all again on Sunday at 7, where we have got another massive lineup of guests. Thank you very much, and I will say goodnight, and I will see you all on Sunday. And above all, stay safe out there. Don't let things get to you. That's the most important thing. Hold your space.